Good evening, my friends. Today, I want to speak to those of you who feel unseen, overlooked, or as if life has tucked you away in some quiet corner. I want to tell you something that might shift your perspective. God hides you for a reason. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever felt like you were ready for the opportunity, the relationship, the dream, but nothing seemed to happen? That's because readiness in your eyes isn't the same as readiness in God's plan. Let me say this: divine timing is everything. Sometimes what looks like delay is actually preparation. You're not being denied, you're being prepared. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. That seed doesn't sprout the moment it's buried. No, it has to grow roots in the darkness before it can ever reach for the light. And that's what God does when He hides you. And let me tell you, there's protection in being hidden. Some doors close because you weren't supposed to walk through them. Some people walk away because they were never meant to stay. It might hurt in the moment, but trust me, it's love in disguise. You know, there's a reason we don't pull a diamond out of the earth until it's ready. When something precious is exposed too soon, it can crumble under the weight of pressure. And that's why you're hidden right now, because you're precious and God knows you're not ready yet. But while you're hidden, don't waste the quiet time. This is your season to grow, to learn, to heal, to build. This is your time to root yourself so deeply in your purpose that when your moment comes, you'll stand tall and strong. And let me tell you something about faith in the process. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. The waiting, the wondering, the tears, it's all part of the plan. Every no is leading you to the right. And when the moment comes, oh, you'll know. You'll step into your purpose with a confidence that only comes from knowing you were hidden for a reason. You'll look back and say, now I see why that door didn't open, why that person didn't stay, why that dream took longer than I thought. So if you're in a hidden season right now, embrace it. Don't rush it. Trust it. You're not being forgotten. You're being prepared. And when your time comes, the world will see what God already knew, that you were destined to shine. Thank you. Timing is everything, but not just any timing, divine timing. It's the difference between something being good and something being right. When we rush through life trying to make things happen on our schedule, we often miss the beauty of how mundane things unfold naturally in their own time. There's a certain rhythm to life, a flow that can't be forced. Think about it, a fruit picked too early is bitter. But when it's allowed to ripen, when it's nurtured and given the time it needs, it becomes sweet, nourishing, perfect. That's how divine timing works in our lives. It's not about denial, it's about preparation. It's about making sure that what we step into is ready for us, and equally important, that we are ready for it. Have you ever looked back on a situation that didn't work out the way you wanted and thought, thank God it didn't happen when I wanted it to? You realize that if it had, you wouldn't have been prepared. You wouldn't have had the strength, the wisdom, or the clarity to handle it. Divine timing isn't just about waiting, it's about trusting. It's believing that there's a bigger picture, one we can't always see. In those moments of waiting, it's easy to feel frustrated or overlooked. But what if the waiting isn't a delay, it's a gift? What if the time you spend waiting is actually time you're being given to grow, to heal, to become the person you need to be for what's ahead? The truth is, sometimes the things we want most require us to become more than who we are right now. And here's the beauty of divine timing: when it happens, it feels right. It doesn't feel forced or chaotic, it feels aligned. Doors open without you having to break them down. Opportunities show up in ways you couldn't have imagined. And you realize that all the moments of waiting, all the times you doubted, were leading to this. Divine timing isn't about things happening when you think you're ready. It's about things happening when they're meant to. It's about trust, patience, and the unwavering belief that what's for you will never pass you by. And when it finally arrives, it will be worth every second of the wait. There are times in life when we feel isolated, hidden away from the world. It can feel like a punishment, like we've been forgotten or left behind. But what if that isolation isn't punishment at all? What if it's protection? What if it's a way of keeping us safe from things we're not yet ready for or that aren't meant for us? When you're in a season of isolation, it's easy to feel overlooked. You might see others stepping into opportunities, achieving milestones, or living the life you've dreamed of. But what we often don't see is the cost of being exposed too soon. There's a reason a child isn't born before it's fully developed in the womb. It's not because it's forgotten. It's because it's being nurtured, grown, and strengthened for the moment it's ready to meet the world. Isolation can be a shield. It's a way of protecting us from influences, people, or situations that could harm us or derail our purposes. Sometimes the very things we think we want might actually hurt us if they came into our lives too early. Relationships, careers, or opportunities that seem perfect on the surface can sometimes carry challenges or pressures we're not ready to handle. Being hidden allows us to grow without the weight of those pressures. And then there are times when isolation protects us from ourselves. It gives us the space to confront our insecurities, our fears, and our doubts without the noise of the outside world. In the quiet, we're given the opportunity to heal, to reflect, and to build a stronger foundation. It's in this space that we discover who we are and what we're truly capable of. But this protection isn't just about what's being kept from us, it's also about what's being prepared for us. Just because you can't see what's happening doesn't mean nothing is happening. Sometimes the things meant for you are being worked on behind the scenes. Just as seeds grow roots underground before they sprout above the soil, your purpose is taking shape even when you can't see it. When you're in isolation, it can feel lonely, but it's not without reason. You're being kept safe, nurtured, and prepared. And when the time is right, when you're ready to step into the next chapter, you'll look back and see that the isolation wasn't a punishment, it was protection, a gift, and an act of love. Growth doesn't always happen in the spotlight. In fact, the most profound and transformative growth often takes place in the quiet, hidden places where no one else can see. It's in these moments of stillness and solitude that we're able to truly connect with ourselves, to dig deep and discover the parts of us that need nurturing, healing, and strengthening. Think about nature. A tree's roots grow deep into the soil, hidden from view, long before its branches stretch toward the sky. Without those roots, the tree wouldn't survive the storms or bear fruit. That's what the quiet place is for us. It's where our roots take hold. It's where we find stability, resilience, and the strength to withstand whatever comes our way. In the quiet place, there's no pressure to perform, no need to prove anything to anyone. It's a space where we can strip away the masks we wear and confront our true selves. This isn't always easy. Growth can be uncomfortable. It requires us to face our fears, to let go of old habits, and to push through the pain of change, but it's in this discomfort that we find our greatest breakthroughs. The quiet place is also where we learn to listen. In the noise of the world, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But in the silence, we can hear the whispers of our intuition, the guidance of a higher power, and the truths we often avoid. It's a time for reflection, for asking the hard questions, and for finding clarity about who we are and where we're headed. And just like the soil nourishes the seed, the quiet places where we're nourished by rest, by learning, by connection with our deepest selves. It's where we develop the patience and persistence to grow slowly but surely, knowing that the most meaningful change takes time. When we finally emerge from the quiet place, we're not the same as we were when we entered. We're stronger, wiser, and more grounded. The world might not have seen the work that happened in the quiet, but it will see the results. The fruit of our labor, the light of our growth will be undeniable. So if you find yourself in a season of stillness, embrace it. Don't rush to leave the quiet place, because it's there that you're being shaped into the person you're meant to be. And when it's time to step back into the world, you'll do so with a strength and confidence that only the quiet place can provide. Stepping into the spotlight too soon can feel like an achievement at first, but it often reveals the dangers of premature exposure. When we're thrust into situations before we're fully prepared, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal growth, the weight of the spotlight can become overwhelming. It's like picking a fruit that hasn't ripened. It may look ready on the outside, but it hasn't developed the sweetness, strength, or resilience needed to thrive. The spotlight has a way of magnifying everything your strengths, yes, but also your vulnerabilities. It exposes areas you haven't fully worked on and weaknesses that might have gone unnoticed in the shadows. This exposure can lead to criticism, pressure, and challenges that you're not yet equipped to handle. What should have been a moment of celebration can turn into a source of stress, anxiety, or even failure. Sometimes the very thing we're chasing, recognition, success, visibility, is the thing we're not ready for. Being in the spotlight too soon can stunt growth rather than support it. It can create a false sense of arrival, making us think we've reached the peak when in reality we've only just begun the climb. And when we're not ready for that climb, the fall can be devastating. But there's no shame in taking your time. There's no shame in saying, I need more preparation. The most enduring success comes not from rushing to the top, but from building a strong foundation. Diamonds don't form in a day. They take years of pressure and heat in the darkness before they're ready to shine. When the spotlight comes too soon, it can also blind us to the lessons we still need to learn. Growth takes time to develop wisdom, to hone skills, to build character. Skipping that process might get you there faster, but it often doesn't keep you there. Sustained success requires depth. And depth is built in the waiting seasons. If you ever feel hidden, it's not because you're not good enough. It's because there's more work to do, more shaping, more strengthening, more refining. And when the spotlight finally comes, it will be at the right time, when you're ready to stand tall, withstand the pressure, and let your light shine without fear. So don't fear the shadows, don't rush the process. Trust that the time spent in preparation is not wasted. It's building you into someone who can not only step into the spotlight, but thrive in it. And when your moment comes, you'll be ready not just to shine, but to endure. Having faith in the process means trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even when it doesn't look or feel like it. It's about believing that every step, every delay, and every obstacle is part of a bigger picture, even when we can't see it. Faith doesn't eliminate doubt or frustration, but it helps us move forward despite them. Life doesn't always go according to our plans. We set timelines, make goals, and envision how things should happen. But sometimes the reality is very different. Doors close unexpectedly, opportunities slip away, and the waiting feels endless. It's in these moments that faith is tested. Can we trust that what's meant for us will come, even when it feels like everything is working against us? Faith in the process isn't passive, it's active. It requires patience and persistence. It asks us to keep showing up, to keep doing the work, even when there's no immediate reward or visible progress. It's the belief that the effort we're putting in now is building something greater, something we might not fully understand yet. When we plant a seed, we don't see the roots growing beneath the surface, but we water it anyway. We trust that the soil is doing its job, that the sunlight is reaching it, and that in time it will sprout. That's faith in the process. It's continuing to nurture the unseen because we believe in what's to come. There will be moments when the process feels unfair or unbearable. Moments when you want to give up, when it seems like others are moving ahead while you're stuck. But faith reminds us that comparison is a distraction and that everyone's journey is different. What's happening for someone else doesn't take away from what's possible for you. And then there are the breakthroughs, those moments when things finally come together and you realize why the delays, the struggles, and the unanswered questions were necessary. Those moments show us that the process was working all along, even when it didn't feel like it. The closed doors redirected us to better ones. The waiting strengthened us in ways we didn't expect. Faith in the process isn't just about trusting the destination, it's about embracing the journey. It's about understanding that growth, healing, and transformation take time. And it's about knowing that even in the silence, even in the stillness, the process is working, shaping us into who we're meant to be. There's a unique power in stepping into the right time. It's a moment of alignment when everything you've been through suddenly makes sense. The waiting, the wondering, the setbacks, they all come together to prepare you for this exact point. It's not just about arriving, it's about arriving ready. Timing is everything. When you step into the right time, you feel it. There's no need to force things, no need to push or pull. Doors open naturally, opportunities align, and what once felt like an uphill climb becomes a seamless path forward. This is what happens when preparation meets purpose. But getting to the right time isn't always easy. It requires patience, faith, and trust in the process. There are moments when you might feel left behind, as though others are moving ahead while you're stuck in place. But what's meant for you won't pass you by. The delay is often part of the preparation, giving you the tools, resilience, and perspective you'll need to thrive when your moment arrives. Imagine a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. If it's rushed, if someone tries to force it out before it's ready, its wings won't develop properly and it won't be able to fly. But when the time is right, it breaks free on its own, ready to soar. That's how stepping into the right time feels. It's not rushed, it's natural and powerful. Stepping into the right time also brings a sense of peace. When it happens, you realize that everything that came before, the struggles, the heartbreaks, the waiting, had a purpose. Those experiences shaped you, taught you, and prepared you for what's ahead. You're not just stepping into an opportunity, you're stepping into it as the person you were meant to become. It's also important to recognize that the right time isn't about perfection. You won't feel completely free of fear or doubt, but you will feel ready enough. You'll know deep down that this is your moment, and you'll step forward with courage and faith, trusting that everything you've been through has led you here. When you finally step into the right time, it's transformative. It's a moment of realization, a celebration of the journey, and a reminder that the wait was worth it. The timing wasn't just good, it was perfect. And when you're ready, the world will see it, and so will you. In life, there will be seasons of waiting, moments of hiddenness, and times when it feels like nothing is happening. But if there's one thing to take from all of this, it's that nothing is wasted. Every delay, every setback, every quiet moment is shaping you, growing you, and preparing you for the right time. Trust the process. Trust the waiting. Trust that the hiding is protection. The growth in the quiet is necessary, and the timing is divine. Because when your moment comes, and you'll understand why it couldn't happen any sooner and why it didn't need to happen any later. So step forward with faith, knowing that what's meant for you is already on its way, and when it arrives, you'll be ready to embrace it fully, completely, and confidently. Your right time is coming. And when it does, the world will be ready for you, just as you will be ready for it. Thank you.